The lesson outcome for this video is I can write the equation of a line, and this is when we are given 2 points. So some of the work here is going to be similar to what we've done in previous lessons because we've already learned that there's 2 different formats that we can write the equation of a line, y equals mx plus b, and y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So since we are given 2 points in this situation, we know that we're going to use the equation that is in point-slope form right here and not in slope-intercept. Again, that would be helpful if we knew the slope and we could find the y-intercept pretty easily. But in this situation, we're going to find the slope and we're going to be able to use a point that we are given in the problem. So, in connection with what we've done again in a previous lesson, the first thing we need to do is we need to find the slope. Alright, so we need to find the slope between the 2 points, 7, 2 and 10, 4. Remember that the slope formula is m equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. And if we go through and label, this is an x-coordinate, this is a y-coordinate, this is an x-coordinate, this is a y-coordinate. This is my first point, this is my second point. Now all we would need to do is put those values into the slope formula and simplify. So our y2 value is 4 minus our y1 value is 2. And in the denominator, our x2 value is 10 minus our x1 value, which is 7. Well, 4 minus 2 is 2, and 10 minus 7 is 3. So we have found our slope, m equals 2/3. Now the second thing we're going to do is simply choose one of our points. Choose one point. We're given 2 in this example, and we only need one of them in order to write this in point-slope form. So I'm just going to choose the first one, and almost always on my answer keys or what I do in class, I will typically just pick the first point, just because it's more consistent that way. And 3, we're going to write the equation. And again, we're going to use point-slope form. We're going to put this point 7, 2 in for our x1 and y1, being careful to remember the rule with that. And we're going to put our slope in. So we've got y. Now remember, okay, here's our y1 value right here. If we called this is our x1 and our y1. Another reason why I choose the first point is we've already labeled that x1, y1, so we don't necessarily have to write it again. But our y1 value is 2. Remember, if it's positive 2 here, we're going to put it in as negative 2. So y minus 2 equals the slope. Well, the slope is 2/3. And then times x. And again, using this x value right here of positive 7, we're going to write minus 7. And that is the equation for the line that goes through this point and this point. Now one thing I like to point out when we're done writing one of these for the first time is that if we had looked at these 2 points on a coordinate plane, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I just know where my points are. So 7, 2, 7, 2 is right here. And 10, 4 is right here. And that's the equation, or that's, the line that we're talking about right there. Does that make sense for what we wrote right here? Well, first of all, is the slope up 2, right 3? Well, from here it's going up 2 and right 1, 2, 3. So yep, up 2, right 3, good slope. It's going up, it's increasing, so it's a positive slope. And is our point 7, 2 on that line? Of course it is. Notice, you could have written the line, or the equation, y minus 4 equals 2/3 times x minus 10, and that also would be a completely correct answer for this situation because I just used the other point. So both options will be fine. Just keep in mind that if you wrote one and I wrote a different one, just think through, oh, that's why, the other equation is acceptable as well. Okay, at this point I'd like you to pause the video and try writing this equation on your own. Write the equation of the line that goes through points -4, 7 and -3, -9. And keep those 3 steps in mind that I showed on the previous example, and then check back to see how you did writing your equation. All right, so hopefully you have one of these two equations, depending on which point you chose. I chose to use this point in the first one, so y minus 7 equals negative 16 times the quantity x plus 4. You could have chosen this as well if you used that equation. Either way, the slope was negative 16 when we did our computation up here. And let me know in class if you have questions on this process.